P2B blasts Tinubu for always traveling abroad instead of sitting down to solve all the numerous challenges Nigerians face on a daily basis. This latest trip to Japan and Brazil will make it the third time he's visiting Brazil in under 9 months. So in effect, Brazil has become the new France. Yes, remember he has spent 50 days in France since he came to power. His first trip to France was in June 2023, where he spent 5 days. He said he attended the new Global Financial Pact Summit in Paris. In January 2024, Tinubu took a 14-day trip to France. He called it private visit. He returned in Nigeria in early February. In August 2024, he took another trip to France, returning after 4 days. In October 2024, he traveled again to France, this time via UK. He spent a total of 2 weeks in the two countries. In November 2024, he made a 3-day state visit to France. Yes, that's him here and Macron, inspecting a guard of honor. Also in February 2025, he traveled to France again. This time he named it a private visit. He spent a total of 8 days. He also passed through Addis Ababa for the AU summit. In April 2025, he went on a walking visit to France yet again. This time he spent more than 2 weeks rotating between France and London. Now to Tinubu's latest travel to Japan and Brazil. They announced he's going to make a short landing in Dubai before continuing the journey. It's also important to know that the event he's attending in Japan is a 4-day event, but he's going to spend a total of 12 days. Who knows where he's going to be in those 12 days? How can you be attending a summit and the date is listed, but you arrive maybe 5 days before that time? It doesn't make any sense. It's as if he's running away from Nigeria. How can one spend everything within his power to achieve his lifelong dream of becoming the president, but he can't sit down and do the job of the president? It's very simple. The reason he did all he could to achieve the dream was to enjoy the trappings of office, was to enjoy the perks that come with the office of the president. So it's not a surprise at all that he's running away from the job. Put yourself in this situation. You always visit a friend. You paid him visit for 3 or 4 times and he has never visited you for once. At a time, you will be looking as if you're depending on your friend. But reasonably, you are not supposed to pay him a second visit without him returning the first visit. That is how it should work. Every time you keep visiting the friend, it seems that you're belittling yourself. You're making it look as if you don't even have a self-respect for your own self, for your own country, for your own people. And you can't take it away from him to even be putting himself in these international events. Yes, imagine seeking to be invited to an event that he shouldn't have anything to do with in the first place. Nigerians are not getting their money's worth from all these foreign voyages. Imagine the thousands, if not millions of dollars they waste on escorts, and they don't even list the retinue of aides that accompany him to these travels. This is Nigerian money being wasted. And they keep saying that there is no money, that they met a near bankrupt economy. But the little they have, they can't manage it judiciously to lift Nigerians out of poverty. Now, let's see the message P2B posted on his verified X handle. Again, our president moves as the nation bleeds. Amid the deplorable state of our nation in all ramifications, we have a virtually indifferent president who has continued to display insensitivity to our situation. How can anyone explain that a president who came from Brazil recently and met with the president is returning to the same country, leaving the various degrees of challenges at home unresolved? The latest itinerary of the president shows he will depart Abuja on Thursday, that's today, August 14th, to a 2-nation trip to Japan and Brazil. The president will stop over in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, before proceeding to Japan. In Japan, President Tinubu will attend the 9th Tokyo International Conference on African Development in the city of Yokohama from August 20 to 22. The itinerary is silent on the president's return date to his visibly troubled nation. The situation we find ourselves in is deeply worrisome. Our president, who has not found it worthy to visit any of our troubled states, takes joy in traveling to foreign countries at the slightest invitation or excuse, often departing several days even before the events he is invited to. In his last trip, for instance, he had a 1-week state visit to St. Lucia before attending the BRICS summit, where Nigeria was merely invited as an observer, though the role was dressed up as partner to the invitation. Which was more significant, the leaders of actual member countries who attended only arrived a day or two at most for the event. Nigeria's insecurity situation, economic hardship, and human suffering have reached their peak. We are now counted among the most insecure nations, the most fragile economies, and the hungriest countries in the world. This dire reality demands the full attention of Mr. President, and his travels should be more within our troubled states and communities, spending time on the ground and taking decisive action to alleviate the people's suffering, rather than these overseas conferences that contribute little or no tangible value to our nation's woes. And where the trip is necessary at all, it could be attended in just a few days, rather than indulging in prolonged unnecessary absences from a country that requires 24/7 attention. What our nation needs now is security of lives and properties, economic stability, and ensuring that our people have food on their table. Our president's planned trip of 12 days departing today, if necessary, should have been at most a 5-day trip, as the event he was invited to in Japan commences on the 20th. Nigeria today demands competent leadership with capacity and compassion to start dealing with the problems besetting it, with the presence and sacrifice required. Mr. President must, as a matter of urgency, commence tours of our states with the same enthusiasm he shows for jetting out of the country every month. These visits will enable him to see, listen, and learn more about what Nigerians are going through. Though Nigerians know that our huge problems cannot be solved overnight, they want to see 100% effort and tireless commitment to solving them. Most importantly, our president must know that he is not a tourist, but the chief executive of a troubled nation. So he must have consciousness, strict work schedules, and a strict traveling schedule to show that he has a troubled country to quickly return to. You can't really shame the shameless. Part of the reason most countries don't respect Nigerians, not that respect shouldn't be earned, or that these countries are racist, or that because Nigerians are poor. No, it's simply because most Nigerian leaders don't portray themselves. They don't portray themselves in a way they should be respected. Yes, respect should be reciprocal. Even if a country sees you as being lower than they are, because you are poor, your GDP is far lower than theirs, as a matter of fact, they feel respecting you, they won't get anything, so they can treat you anyhow they want. No, despite the fact that you're poor, you still have to present yourself with respect, with dignity. Yes, if you keep running at the slightest excuse to these countries, they will start seeing you as their neighbor. Just like it happened to Buhari when he was in power. King Charles, at a time, asked him, "Do you have a house in London? Because I see you all the time. Where is your house?" He started denying, I don't have a house. I've never had this. I did this. It's only the house I have in Kaduna and Dara, blah, blah, blah. He didn't understand the question. King Charles was indirectly trying to tell him, you're always spending time in London. What about your country? Can't you holiday in your country? Or can't you receive medical attention in your country? He didn't get the joke. So this is the same thing Tinubu is doing. He keeps traveling everywhere, whether he's going for medical checkup or not. But someone with respect should not be at the slightest excuse you present yourself. No, you have to give yourself that self-respect before others will respect you. That is how you should work. All the time you're belittling yourself. Travels you're supposed to send maybe the vice president or maybe a minister, you present yourself there. No, it doesn't make any sense. It belittles the country called Nigeria. This is why many people are opposed to an elderly person leading Nigeria from 2027. We don't want anyone that will be going to hospitals abroad or traveling abroad at the slightest excuse, or even some people who have homes abroad. Yes, it doesn't make any sense. If you have a home abroad, it becomes a national security risk for the president of Nigeria to be holidaying in his foreign home. Yes, it doesn't make any sense. Imagine if they wiretap the home because it's actually in another country. And any country the president travels to, he's subjected to the laws of the country. Yes, that's how it works. Forget about diplomacy. You can say if he commits crime in the country, he might not be charged because of diplomacy. But the most important thing is he is subjected to their laws. That's why he should go there, spend just a few days and return back to his country. If he feels he can't do the job or he's tired of doing it already, he can simply tender his resignation so that he can continue traveling around the world however he wishes. Thanks for watching.